That would be Lady Liberty, as we are enjoying a beautiful late afternoon, early evening in the metropolitan New York area. The Rockies and Mets game 3. Rockies have lost the first 2. Yesterday they were shut out. Final score 4-0. The Rockies trying to snap an 8-game losing streak here at Citi Field, as Charlie Blackmon is ready to go. So Charlie will step in against Jacob deGrom. Blackmon last night was 0 for 4 in that ball game. Matt Harvey went 8 of the 9 innings. Eric O'Flaherty got the final 3 outs. And last night there were some clouds and late afternoon showers. Not the case today. As I mentioned, just a perfect afternoon. And honestly, we've had great weather on this road trip.
Surprisingly enough, because it's October or August and it's not very humid.
And Charlie takes his strike, and it's 0-2.
And that's what Jacob deGrom will do. He'll pound the strike zone. How about that? Just 24 walks in 139 2/3 innings, 142 strikeouts.
That was at 98. So here we go again. I mean, you look at this murderer's row the Rockies have faced from our nation's capital to here in Queens. And that's a broken bat roller to second, where Wilmer Flores has it. Goes to Michael Kadire. 1 out as we take a look at Walt's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. In the 2 spot, Jose Reyes again, the one-time Met. Cargo, Nolan Arenado, Ben Paulson in the middle. Then DJ LeMahieu, Michael McHenry doing the catching. Tomorrow's a day game. Brandon Barnes is out in left field. So here's Reyes, and Jose takes a slider for a strike.
The Rockies faced deGrom one other time. Yeah, Jose, they still miss you here. They were booing him last night when he hit the triple or the double to right center field.
We'd love you as long as you make outs, right?
Yeah, they know what he meant to this franchise, he and David Wright, when they came up, and how they really wanted to be the face of the franchise.
Well, they were, and they breathed new life into a franchise that had been through a difficult period, was looking for a new identity. Reyes 285 over in the American League. So far 213 in a Rockies uniform. 1-2, and it's hit late and foul.
And that's what you'll see from deGrom. And as I was saying a moment ago, the Rockies faced him back on September 9th. He had 8 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts in a game that the Mets won 2-0. Also didn't walk anybody. Retired the last 14 in a row that he had faced.
Well, Harvey, last night with the work he did and previous work against the Rockies, he has a minuscule, like an 0.39 or something ERA against Colorado. And there's deGrom, and he's going to give up a soft liner off the top of the glove of Flores. And I don't want to say he nonchalanted that, but I think he thought he was going to make the catch pretty easily. And he didn't jump as high as he needed to, or really
mistimed it.
Yeah, drop step the way he could have.
Yeah, mistimed the jump, because he had a chance to keep going back more and running, but he did the old pitter patter with the feet to make sure that he could try to get up and jump off the right foot. Remember, he's still learning how to play second base. They flip-flop midway through the season, he and the shortstop now, Tejada.
Well, there won't be a no-hitter for Jacob deGrom, fortunately.
Good.
There was one that we witnessed about a half hour ago, finished off in Seattle.
Iwakuma with the 5th no-hitter in Seattle Mariners history.
First in the American League this year, 4th in baseball, Hisashi Iwakuma.
5 no-hitters. You know about King Felix and his perfect game. Randy Johnson had one. Chris Bosio. Remember Kevin Millwood had one with 5 other relievers following him up?
Former Rocky Kevin Millwood. Here's the 0-1 to Cargo. And it's fouled off. Rockies last night had just 5 hits. 3 of them were infield hits. They had only 4 hits against Matt Harvey. Cargo yesterday was 0 for 4.
One other fact on that no-hitter for Iwakuma at 34 years of age. He becomes the oldest pitcher to throw a no-hitter since a 40-year-old Randy Johnson had his perfect game in 2004.
Well, you were around an elder statesman that would twirl a no-hitter here and there.
Every once in a while. He was in 42, I believe, 41, 42 when he threw his 6th no-hitter.
Fastball gets Gonzalez. First strikeout for Jacob deGrom.
Jacob, you can get a fastball, you can get a slider in any count because he's not afraid to do it. But the fastball batting average against is a mere 194. That's the second lowest in the major leagues. Only Cueto has a lower one, 181 batting average against on his fastball.
Yeah, impressive.
But I don't think he throws as hard. Doesn't throw nearly as hard though as deGrom.
And he's a hard thrower. I mean, he'll work 94, 95, but this kid's ridiculous. On the outside corner, a strike at 97. So you think about Jordan Zimmerman was working 93-ish. Then you had Strasburg, who was basically working 96, 97. You had Scherzer, who was around 94, 95, unless there was somebody on, and then he would go get 97, 98. You had Harvey last night. This is a lineup. And now deGrom with Syndergaard waiting on deck. It is an embarrassment of riches. Goodman. Jenny Kavnar will be along in a little bit. That's Juan Lagares. He's going to lead things off for Terry Collins this evening. Let's take a look at the rest of the Mets lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Curtis Granderson, despite a lefty being on the hills in the lineup tonight. Jonas Cespedes will bat third, then Uribe. Michael Kadire had 2 hits, scored a couple runs in last night's victory for New York. Wilmer Flores, Travis d'Arnaud, Ruben Tejada, and Jacob deGrom. So De La Rosa making his 20th start. He's above 500, as he always seems to be.
Well, that's why he's the Rockies' winningest pitcher of all time, 7-4 this year. We talked about his success out on the road at 5-2. He has pitched 11 times in 5 starts against the New York Mets. He's 5-1 during that time, 35 2/3 innings pitched. Also had success in New York. He's 2-0. Make it 3-0 tonight.
The Rockies trying to end that 8-game losing streak here at Citi Field. They've been shut out now in 4 of those 8 games. Last night, the Rockies were shut out for the 6th time this year. Mets have produced 10 shutouts as a club. First pitch is popped up to right field. Cargo's got it. Legaris retired. That'll bring up Curtis Granderson. Let's take a look at the Rockies defense. Barnes in left, Blackman center, Cargo in right. You know the infield well now. Michael McHenry's doing the catching. The Rockies have the 23rd fielding percentage in baseball, which you would not think that would be the case with a Gold Glover at third, a Gold Glover at second. They've had Gold Glove shortstops, and obviously Tulowitzki playing the majority of the games prior to the trade. Paulson is solid at first base. Cargo's a Gold Glover in right. It really is surprising that they're that far down the list fielding percentage wise.
And they're 11th in the National League as far as their fielding percentage at .984. The Mets are 6th. They've only made 61 errors. Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there, pitchers on the staff. They have 8 errors, so take some of those away. But it is surprising. Every time I write that in my book, I'm just like, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't compute.
And errors aren't everything. Obviously, you don't want to commit errors. But the Rockies do take a lot of runs away that I think there are other infields certainly that don't get to the baseballs they get to. And also their outfield. 3 on the right side. Easy play for Reyes. Granderson's gone. 2 outs. That'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes. Rockies fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts or photos. Utilize Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Make sure you also include the hashtag Toyota Talk. So here's the native of Cuba, Yoenis Cespedes. That is a bright sleeve he's got on.
That might be an understatement. Neon green. Where does that fit in the color scheme for the Mets? I didn't realize they had that as a subtle color in their uniform.
Jorge should call timeout and say, that's blinding me.
Imagine if Jorge put one of those on his arm, make him take it off immediately. You can't go out there and pitch with that.
No, he wouldn't get very far. Oh, 1 is fouled off. I think if you tried to do that in the NFL, okay, now you want that if you're selling hot dogs or beer or water in the stands, but I don't know. In the NFL, I don't think that fly. The fashion police would get you on the sideline.
Somebody did that the other day for, who was it, for the Braves? Wore some high stirrups, and they called them on that and said you can't do that anymore.
De La Rosa changes the eye level of Cespedes. It remains 0-2. 2 outs, nobody on in the New York first.
Oh, it's Cameron Maybin who did it for the Braves. Yeah, he went back to the 1980s, those high stirrup socks.
Yeah.
Remember those we used to wear in high school?
Sure. Did you have any stirrups in your big league career?
Yeah, we used to have to wear them. See ya.
Strike 3, and what a start for Jorge De La Rosa. See that slow hook to get Cespedes.
And this is the Rockies' first time seeing the Mets this year. That means it's their first time seeing Jacob deGrom. But the world got to see him on the national stage at the Midsummer Classic, and boy, did he ever impress. It took him just 10 pitches to strike out the side in the sixth. He got Stephen Vogt, Jason Kipnis, and Jose Iglesias. They were all victims. He just made him look silly. It was Brad Lidge that held the record before with 11 pitches. Of course, the Colorado product, just 11 to strike out the side. That's impressive. But, you know, when you look at the tweets, I think the whole world was talking about the Sklar brothers. They said Jacob deGrom, crazy. Then LOL at Jacob deGrom, and some fun emoticons there from Zach Wheeler, his Mets teammate, and Brett Anderson. The Dodgers said deGrom just dominated at the All-Star game with that hair and all. So, yes, the signature hair, the signature fastball, guys.
That was a real impressive 10-pitch performance by deGrom.
It's hard to do that to major league hitters, make them look foolish.
It was
that quickly.
It was kind of Gooden-esque from the All-Star game, you know, 84, 85, somewhere in there.
But he just said, okay, here's my fastball. Try to hit it if you can. Nobody could.
Nope. One out as Ben Paulson pops out, and that'll bring up DJ LeMahieu. You may be wondering with DJ's moved around the lineup. Of course, the first part of the season he batted in the 8th spot, but then around the time he was consistently hitting 350, Walt moved him into the 2-hole, and he's been there quite a bit. And now with the addition of Reyes, we've seen him in the 5-hole. We've seen him a lot of nights where he is today in the 6th spot. And it's very comfortable for him. He said at LSU he led off some, he hit third some. He said a lot of the times, though, I would hit 5th or 6th.
RBI position now for DJ with the switch hitter. Reyes fits more naturally in the number 2 spot in the lineup. And so DJ slides down and provides some protection for Ben Paulson if he hits 5th.
1-2. I know it says that he averages 94.9 on his fastball. So far tonight, he's pretty much sitting on 97 with a high of 98. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell.
Another victim of the Tommy John surgery for Jacob deGrom. Had that in 2011, missed the whole year.
A lot of people say, all right, let's get it out of the way.
No.
Not the way to work. Now, if you need it, that's one thing at the professional level. But if you have a kid at home who's a nice pitcher and he's 16 years old, don't think that you want to have him operated on.
No, have him strengthen the elbow and the shoulder to stay away from it. Because that's how guys come back throwing harder, is they've done all the rehab to get back there.
They didn't get a bionic ligament placed in there. 2 balls and a strike on Mike McHenry.
That's not like the movie that was The Rookie, where he falls and breaks his arm and then comes back and throwing real hard. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, that was unusual. Off the plate, 3-1. Home plate umpires Ben May tonight. Greg Gibson at first, Chad Fairchild at second, Sam Holbrooks at third. Ball 4. That's the first walk in more than 30 innings issued by a member of the Mets staff. Jacob deGrom, since May the 16th, had walked only 12 guys.
And with last night's ball game where they didn't walk a guy, that was the 3rd straight game that the Mets had not issued a free pass, and that had tied a franchise record.
20 times this year, they have not walked a batter in a game. That's the best in baseball. Now, I know it works in concert with guys who have top flight stuff, and Harvey and deGrom and Syndergaard and Steven Matz. However, there are a lot of guys with good stuff that walk a lot of guys.
Or a lot of hard throwers that walk.
And typically power pitchers do walk some folks. But guess what? every team in baseball, and the Rockies at the top of the list, can learn something from don't add traffic out there.
Jonathan Neese has the most on the staff at 37.
Brandon Barnes gone on 3 pitches. That's 3 strikeouts for DeGrom. McHenry, who walked, left at first. Middle of 2, no score. Is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Colorado Native, August is Colorado Proud Month. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Aerial view of Citi Field in Flushing Meadows, Queens. A couple weeks from now, across the way at the United States Tennis Center, there'll be a rather large tournament taking place. See if Serena Williams can win the Grand Slam.
About an Open in tennis.
Something like that.
We were here last year during that time.
It is a blast. We talked about it, I'm sure, quite a bit a year ago. If you can ever attend the U.S. Open, it is one of those special events. It should be on your bucket list. Juan Uribe to face Jorge De La Rosa. De La was terrific in the first inning. Fly ball, weak fly ball, ground ball, and a strikeout of Cespedes. This ball's pulled to the left field corner, and it is foul.
That fan down the line wishes he would have brought a glove right off the hands. And then Brandon tossed the ball up into the stands, but he didn't give it to that guy.
He had his chance.
I know, that's right. That's all you can do is throw your hands up.
De La Rosa last year threw his curveball more. This year it's around 5%. Though, we've noticed out on the road he's broken it out a little bit more.
And that's who he struck out Cespedes with, that big looping curveball.
A little quick with the fastball there. De La falls behind 2-1. And what makes De La so unusual, the split finger is the pitch of choice more than any other.
And it wasn't that way to start the season for Jorge. He was using his fastball more than he was his split finger, but now he's become so effective with it.
There's something else that's unusual. This is popped up, foul ground. McHenry hoping for a play, will not have one. What makes his arsenal and the use of his arsenal that much more unusual, when he's behind an account, for virtually every pitcher in the game, at any level, the fastball is going to be the pitch utilized more than any other. With De La, it's still the splitter.
He has confidence in that pitch, because it'll do two different things depending on how he throws it. If he gets off to the side more, it'll have the appearance like it's coming in as a fastball and then act like a slider. The other times it'll go straight down like you would expect a split finger to be. I just went back in my book looking at it. Back on June 9th in the start against St. Louis, he was throwing his fastball 41% of the time, his split just 27% of the time. So you can see the inverse numbers between the fastball and the split, how he's throwing it more now in just a 2-month period.
2-2. Taylor with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, chopped foul by Uribe. Michael Kadyr's on deck, then Wilmer Flores. He went.
Yes, he did. It doesn't matter. I mean, home plate umpire Ben May, first base Greg Gibson, they both were ringing him up.
It was unanimous. Uribe is gone.
Here's a split that he turned over. Juan's trying to buy it. Trying to buy that he didn't swing. Just keep jogging back to the dugout. Hey, the first 10,000 fans through the gates on Sunday, August 23rd will receive a Jorge De La Rosa bobblehead. Get your tickets to the game against these same New York Mets today. Dandy, get me over curveball.
Kadir, a couple of hits yesterday. Michaels hit 8 home runs. And that was a slider or splitter. Again, they're hard to tell the way he throws his splitter. Whatever it was nasty.
That's the one he'll get off to the side. It's a split finger.
And the fastball hit softly off the end of the bat to DJ. 2 outs. He's pitching again by De La Rosa. Chris Russin threw the ball well yesterday. He gave up the 2-out single to score Kadir. Wilmer Flores got, or actually Tejada got it with 2 outs in the 6th inning, the only run he would allow.
Seeing eye variety. Just punched it to right field. 5 strikeouts, just 1 walk, 96 pitches thrown, 64 for strikes, and he had command of virtually every pitch, working in and out in the ball game, trying to match Matt Harvey, and he did that just with the 1 earned run. Matt just didn't give up any.
Oh, and 1 on Flores. Mets broke the game open in the bottom of the 8th inning by scoring 3 off the Rockies bullpen. It was a 4-0 final, and the Rockies fell to 0-2 here in New York on this particular trip. But again, they're trying to snap an 8-game road losing streak against the Mets. Took 2 of 3 in Washington. Tomorrow's a noon start. No television on that one. 10 a.m. back home. Arenado, a clean throw across. 6 up, 6 set down by De La Rosa. We'll go to the 3rd scoreless RM Data Strong fan, and we'll see if we can get you into an upcoming game broadcast. For the Rockies in the third, Jorge De La Rosa is going to lead things off. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Rockies against DeGrom. Rockies had a single from Reyes in the first inning, and Michael McHenry drew a walk with 2 outs last inning. The Rockies with a couple of base runners, none as of yet for New York. And a fastball at the belt for a strike. Jacob deGrom was a 9th-round pick with obviously top of the draft talent. When you find a guy like this anywhere outside the first 3 or 4 picks, you have done really, really well.
And that's what the Mets have done, building their rotation. They have found some diamonds in the rough. Yeah, Matt Harvey last night is a first-round pick. Get that. But you get Syndergaard in the trade from Toronto for R.A. Dickey, and also your starting catcher, Jonathan Neese, 7th rounder out of high school. Bartolo Colon was the guy that is filling in until some of these younger guys. But DeGrom in college at Stetson University played shortstop and third base his first 2 years before converting to a pitcher his junior year. He was just 4-5 in 17 games, 2 saves. But Syndergaard, 22 years of age, I mean, he was the prize of that trade with Toronto.
And again, I keep bringing up the lefty, Steven Matz, who's going to begin a rehab assignment shortly. They say he's every bit as good as the other 3, and he throws from the left side, which is an added bonus. 2 outs. And here comes Jose. Has been waiting for a picture with Jose Reyes since age 7. Made Jose feel pretty old. Well worth the wait. I know Rockies fans are just getting to know Jose Reyes. What you're going to find is a guy that still loves to play. He brings a big smile and a big personality to the ballpark every day. He's already fit right in on the ball club. DeGrom goes off speed. First time in a while. It's 0-2.
Now what do you get? Is it fastball, slider? It's a shortstop, third baseman coming back in to finish that play off.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. He's going to field his position well. He's also going to give you a competitive at bat. Middle of 3, no score. 200, please. Matt Dillon taking in the ball game. No scores. We go to the bottom of the third. Travis d'Arnaud will be first, but even prior to that, here's Jenny Cavnar. Jenny?
Thanks, Drew. You mentioned that the Rockies have an 8-game losing streak right here at Citi Field, but it actually has nothing to do with their pitching. Let's get to our Coors Light cold hard fact. Take a look at what the pitchers have done since 2010 here. The team has a 9-10 record. Pitchers, starters going 4-7 in that time, despite their 2.82 ERA, and that includes 6.3 strikeouts per 9 innings to the just 3 walks per 9 innings and only 2 home runs allowed. Incredible when you look starting pitching. The offense just hasn't showed up. That's been very evident dating back to that losing streak back in 2013, guys.
Did you like Rumblefish, Jenny, with Matt Dillon?
I'm sorry?
Did you like Rumblefish with Matt Dillon?
Yeah, that was in my top 10 of movies I liked with Matt Dillon in them.
Mine's got to be Something About Mary. And that's
up there. That's up there. Remember The Outsiders?
Yes.
d'Arnaud fouls that off. I think Dillon's a longtime Met fan. He grew up in New Rochelle. Just north of here. 2-1 on d'Arnaud. Well, that was another piece that came down with Syndergaard in the R.A. Dickey deal. Travis d'Arnaud. Dickey won a Cy Young and got shipped to the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays winning again tonight early.
Yankees hear them breathing down their neck, huh?
Yes, they do. Lost in 15 last night.
Well, the first base runner for the Mets, a leadoff walk here in the third.
Chris Rock in the house tonight.
I don't know if you knew this. He's very funny.
Is he?
Yes, very funny guy.
I didn't know that.
Chris Rock's very funny. See, the Mets playing well. All the stars are coming out, huh?
I'm still waiting for Jerry to come to the game. I haven't seen him in our first 3 nights here. Maybe tomorrow, day game.
He's got to be here at some point, right? Ruben Tejada.
The hero of last night's game for the Mets had that game-winning RBI in the 6th inning. Base hit to right field, scoring Kadire. After that last pitch, he was just doing a self-reminder. And don't drop the elbow too much. Stay on top. Start to drop the elbow, your hand will drop to the side, and that's when the ball will sail on you.
1-1, and this is hit to short. There's one on to first, double play. Great turn by LeMahieu. And a good feed by Reyes. I mean, Reyes is going to get it. He's going to fire it in a hurry.
And for DJ, that's what you want. You want the shortstop to give you that ball as soon as possible. And he's telling you, yeah, good job. So Reyes comes over, slides over, the slide throw. But then how about DJ? So he starts with his left foot on the bag and then pops back, and that clears himself from that base runner. The base runner doesn't know what he's going to do, so he just slides right into second base.
DeGrom swings and misses at that first offering.
Go back and look at that double play from DJ's angle. So he gets a good throw. Left foot on the bag, take your right foot to the ball. Second base, the guy sliding into seconds going, where's he going? I'm thinking he's going to go across because it's coming from that side of the diamond. I'm going to pop back, and you're not going to touch me.
2-1 on DeGrom.
There's 5 errors at second base for DJ.
You know, guys, we were at MLB Network today. We'll show you some video later, but DJ was posing an interesting question with too low gone and Reyes being a shorter shortstop and just kind of getting that chemistry down. Jeff, how hard is that to go from a guy that's a little bit taller and positioning and placing the ball where you want it to now finding that quick chemistry in a few weeks?
It is different because you work so much together as a tandem, and when you hear about it, you go, oh, you got to have a double play combination. You have to have that synergy between the two guys. But when somebody's been around as long as Jose Reyes is, he knows where second baseman is, or he knows where to throw the ball. Second baseman is just something, I like the ball right here, you throw it there.
Well, that ball was thrown over the heart of the plate on a hard curveball by De La Rosa to strike out DeGrom. We'll go to the 4th inning, no score. Here's the upcoming home schedule presented by Remax. When the Rockies return home, they're going to see Tyson Ross on Friday night, so the good pitching will continue. And the San Diego Padres for 3 games. Monday will be an off day. Then the Nationals and the Mets come a-calling. The Rockies will be home for 10 days before heading back east again to Pittsburgh and Atlanta.
Tyson Ross, all-star last year. But that's the big leagues. Sometimes you just run into those stretches where every night it's somebody else's number one.
Yeah, and the Rockies deal with that some in the division where you may run into Bumgarner and then head down to Dodger Stadium and see Kershaw and Greinke the next couple of days. But this has been a very interesting period with who they have faced between Washington and New York. Cargo, big swing and a miss. And DeGrom's got right after him. He struck out Cargo on a fastball about letter high at 97 his first time. Cargo a 2-run home run on Monday. The only 2 runs the Rockies have scored in the series.
And for DeGrom, with that fastball velocity, last year it was about 93.5 on average. This year he's almost a mile and a half more per hour on his fastball.
Yeah, I noticed that, and that is unusual because usually guys will get to the big leagues throwing harder than what they settle in at. He's going the other direction right now. 2-1. And Cargo hits a high fly ball to center. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Juan Lagares the catch. That'll bring up Nolan Arenado. Nolan lined the ball to Ruben Tejada his first time.
Looking at the defense for the Mets, they shade more than shift. They'll shade their infielders, they'll shade their outfielders, but you very rarely see a guy flip over to the other side of the diamond.
Yeah, Washington's kind of like that also.
And this is the way it used to be when guys would. This was a shift. This is what you considered a shift. 2 or 3 steps to the pole side or to the opposite side. And Terry Collins, 11th season as a manager, played for Terry in 1999 with the Angels.
On the outside corner, strike 3. Nolan kind of shrugs. I think he thought that ball was away, and that is the 5th strikeout for DeGrom.
You can paint at 97, 98 miles an hour on the black and with movement, right where the catcher set up, you're going to rack up some strikeouts. And he's got a high leg kick. It's 6'4". Kind of reminds me of doesn't bring it up quite as high as Bronson Arroyo, but it's the same build, the same body type.
Yeah, very similar. Paulson behind 0-2. Ben had the only real solid hit against Matt Harvey last night. He pulled a double to the right field corner. There's a great example. That pitch missed location. That's why you saw the reaction from DeGrom. He missed location by 2 feet. D'Arnaud wanted that fastball up and out of the zone, and it was down and in. But you know how we always talk about velocity can make up for mistakes. Now, if that was an 88-mile-an-hour fastball,
it's hit.
It's hit hard. And the curveball strikes out Paulson. 1-2-3 for DeGrom in the 4th inning.
like what we thought was going to happen with this pitching matchup between these two guys. I know school's starting up. It started up maybe last week, next week, but it's not too late because it's back to school time at the Dugout Store. Shop the back to school sale with great brands and styles through the end of August. Get your gear on. The Rockies Dugout Stores.
Well, Jorge De La Rosa is not going to be outshined by Jacob deGrom. He has been terrific so far as we go to the fourth inning. And the second time through the lineup, here's Juan Lagares, the Gold Glove winner in center field last year. He takes strike one. The only other Gold Glove outfielders for the Mets in more than 50 years of baseball. Of course, 1962 was their first season. Tommy Agee was one of the stars on the '69 World Championship team, the amazing Mets. And Carlos Beltran won several in a Mets uniforms. And then Juan Lagares.
Carlos Beltran's one of those guys that's also playing for the Yankees. He's worn both uniforms.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment with Curtis Granderson on deck. This ball up the middle and a base hit. So the first hit of the ball game for Lagares, or for the Mets, produced by Juan Lagares.
3 hits last night for Juan. And now leading off the bottom of the fourth, another.
How many players do you think have played for both the Mets and the Yankees? As here's one, Curtis Granderson steps in.
I've seen this just recently. It's somewhere over 100.
You're correct. It's 127. Probably more than you would think. There's a local kid from Cherry Creek who's played for both, David Arzma.
Who was Arzma with earlier? We saw him. Was it Seattle?
No, that was a couple years ago. Was he with the Dodgers early? This is pulled to first. Paulson's just going to have to take the out there as the ball came up on him. So Lagares to scoring position, 1 out. And that'll bring up Cespedes.
Okay, what?
This is the same color. The bird is the same color as Cespedes' sleeve.
Just hanging out on the backstop. Arzma was with the Braves earlier this year.
With the Braves,
yes.
Okay.
I had to go back in the book to look.
Cespedes struck out looking at a curveball his first time. And De La Rosa goes breaking ball there for a strike.
I think it is the same shade of.
Maybe the bird is wearing a body sleeve. Have you ever thought about that?
You know what? That's too much to think about.
I've never seen a bird that color, so I'm going with the body sleeve theory.
Lagares 7 for 10 stealing bases. Just keep him close at second.
One strike pitch on Cespedes, and it's 0-2 on Cespedes.
In this series, the Rockies pitchers done a marvelous job of mixing up pitches to him. They'll pitch him up for effectiveness. Jorge struck him out with a big sweeping curveball. They've done changeups down and away. And they kept him in 0 for 9.
And the fastball is fouled off. Well, we talked about the fact that the Rockies have lost their last 8 ball games here at Citi Field. It's really because they haven't scored. Over their last 12 games at Citi Field, the starting rotation has posted a 2.20 ERA.
Well, the whole year they've pitched well against the National League East. They're 13-10 with an ERA at 3.50.
0-2, and this is chopped to third. Arenado looks back. Lagares, they're 2 outs. Nice play by Nolan. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code's RocksWin at papajohns.com. Here's Uribe. Curveball, Juan sitting on it. Hooked it into the seats foul.
That's what he did his first at bat. Pulled one hard into the stands.
Mets have hit just .227 against left-handed pitching this year. That's the 29th poorest average in baseball. Chris Rusin good against them last night. Jorge's been terrific thus far. Lagares at second, 2 outs. No swing, according to Greg Gibson.
Think about some of the left-handers that they have in the line. Curtis Granderson's not hitting well against left-handers. They got Lucas Duda.
Not even playing the last 2 days.
No. Daniel Murphy. Daniel can hit lefties or righties, but 3 guys are doing, hitting from the left side. That's part of the reason why they went out and got a couple right-handed bats. One of them being Juan Uribe, the other being Cespedes.
Well, David Wright is on the mend. Another rehab game for David Wright yesterday. He was 1 for 3. Were you down at Port St. Lucie?
Yes. Right for the Port St. Lucie Mets.
When you talk about backs for any athlete, but particularly a baseball player, you just kind of hold your breath. He's had a marvelous career. This ball's pulled foul also.
And David said it best when they were talking to him after the game last night. He said, I used to be able to just wake up, get out of bed, go play a game. Not anymore. It's a process just to get back onto the field. You got to get, you hit in the training room and getting it stretched out and all the exercises that you have to do just to go out there and play.
Well, Jay, you played well into your 30s, and age and then beating up your body for so many years, it takes its toll. I don't care who you are. I don't care how fit you are. It just takes its toll. That's a good block by McHenry. 2-2.
We'd all like to think we're still in our mid-20s going out there and playing into your 30s, but you just can't do it.
I had this conversation, I know you did as well, with Michael Kadire about it. Sports is weird. We talk about guys who are 35 or 36 like they're 98.
That's how you feel sometimes.
You may, but when they do finally retire, they're still very young chronologically.
Most of the time, you still have more than half your life ahead of you.
This ball's wide to deep center field. Blackman's not going to be able to get there. It'll take a hop, go off the top of the wall, and the Mets take the lead as Juan Lagares scores. Just the second hit for the Mets. But it's Juan Uribe, recently acquired from Atlanta, driving in the first marker of the game.
And just won 7th RBI in 15 games for the Mets.
He was 3 for his last 33 at the plate.
Went down and got that one. It was below the knees and then drove it over the head of Charlie in center field way up to the 400-foot mark.
And here is Kadire at the plate. Rockies have been outscored now 9-2 as they're playing in the middle of Game 3 of this 4-game set. Michael won a batting title 2 years ago in a Rockies uniform, hitting .331. He battled a number of injuries last year, and that's a base hit. Here comes Charlie up with the baseball, Uribe to the plate, and he'll score. 2-0.
I'm not sure he would have gotten Juan at the plate, but he got a bad bounce off the mound. Ball hit up off the mound and then kicked high into the air. Michael coming through with the RBI, but Charlie comes up strong. But watch the ball when it hits the mound. Point just pops up in the air. No chance to get Juan then. That's a hard throw for the center fielder because you do have that mound. Which side of the mound do you try to hit it on? You know, because the cutoff man's on the outside part of it, but you want to make sure you get it far enough on the other side to get the short hop at home.
Yeah, I think when a center fielder is trying to throw a guy out at the plate, it is the most difficult throw because on the corners you don't have to deal with the mound. So as long as you're accurate with it, you get that nice one-hop skip.
Because he got rid of it. It bends in where he's supposed to be. He hit off the mountain. No chance.
2-0 on Wilmer Flores. Both runs with 2 outs against De La Rosa. The Mets have won 5 straight here at Citi Field. They're now 40-18 at home. One of the best marks in baseball. Last year they won only 40 games the whole year at home. They were 40-41.
Only the St. Louis Cardinals have more home wins. They have 41. We know how good St. Louis has been this year.
And last year and the year before and the year before that.
Yeah, in the last 4 years I think it is. Nobody's had more wins than the Cardinals.
That bounces up there. Kadire on the dirt ball will move up for a wild pitch. Teams that start to get on a roll seem to get a number of 2-out hits in close games. The Mets are on a roll.
And then they create some of their own magic and luck. When you get a spike curveball that's out in front of the plate, you get the wild pitch. Good secondary lead. Colorado's tied for 3rd in the National League with 41 wild pitches. It ties them with Miami. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh have more. That's it.
3-1 on Flores. Ball 4. So 3 straight have reached after the ground ball to third by Yoenis Cespedes. And Steve Foster, not surprisingly, is going to jog out. Calls time.
We have a moment here. We'll tell you about the first 10,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, August 15th. Will receive a lunch bag courtesy of King Soopers. Get your tickets to this game against the San Diego Padres and don't miss out on the lunch bag. First 10,000 fans through the gates.
Jorge now will put in his sights Travis d'Arnaud.
d'Arnaud hitting .429 on this homestand.
Kadire at second, Flores at first. In time to LeMahieu to end the inning. But with 2 outs, the Mets come up with the first 2 runs of the game. Kadire drove in the second. Truck, it's the future of tough. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Midtown Manhattan on a Wednesday night. The Rockies trail 2-0 as we go to the 5th inning. Did you catch what happened yesterday in baseball? It was the first time it has ever happened in the history of the game. Home is where they want to be. That's right. All 15 Major League home teams won yesterday for the first time ever. And guess what? They've never had a day where 14 out of the 15 won. The highest prior to this was 12. This ball's well hit by DJ, and that's going to go over the head and one hop over the wall. It'll be a ground rule double. So DJ LeMahieu with a leadoff double.
16th of the season, caught Curtis Granderson by surprise. He didn't think he hit that this hard. He started to just take the route across, but that was a belt-high fastball. We know the power of DJ. And then Granderson had to get on his horse to try to get to it, and it skipped off the warning track in right field.
Here's Michael McHenry. He walked his first at bat. Fastball outside. Isn't that wild, though? Every home team won yesterday.
So the last, you mentioned it, 12 teams won, the 12 home teams. That was in 1914 when that happened. May 23rd, 1914.
So that only happened one time?
One time.
Crazy. DJ a leadoff double. It's the Rockies' second hit against DeGrom. The other was a kind of a soft line drive single by Reyes off the top of Wilmer Flores' glove in the first inning.
There's the Rockies' 355th extra base hit.
First 3-0 count of the ball game for DeGrom. Brandon Barnes will be next. Runner going, and ball 4, stolen base for LeMahieu. Second walk allowed by DeGrom. He averages less than 2 walks per 9 innings, and Dan Worthen's going to have to come out. Nobody out. This is clearly the Rockies' opportunity. Down 2-0. They have not scored since early in the ballgame Monday when Cargo hit that opposite field 2-run home run.
And you get the 17th stolen base by DJ. He picks his spot to go. You have the walk.
And the Rockies have gone more than 18 innings without scoring.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. At least you have a chance to put a marker back on the board.
You got an athletic pitcher on the mound. Thinking about what Brandon Barnes may do here. Tough thing about it is Barnes, he's hitting in that 8 spot.
Yeah, and that's what is so difficult about the National League.
If you thought about laying down a bunt with Uribe at third, playing back.
I'm looking for something away from me as a hitter that I can. Those are the easier balls to elevate. Those 94, 96. That was a pitch Brandon wants. That's the one he wanted to make something happen.
Barnes got all fastballs his first time up. Rockies have hit well this year with runners in scoring position. And he got after him at 97 for the strikeout. That's the 7th strikeout for DeGrom.
And reaching back for extra. Just said, here are 3 fastballs. See what you can do, and I'll take the last one at 97.
Strikeout to walk leaders.
We saw Scherzer on Sunday. Cologne will throw on Friday for the Mets.
Here comes the runner. He'll stop LeMahieu. And the out recorded at first. That's as far as I've ever seen a runner come down the line and not try to score. DJ came as far as Uribe, who fielded the bunt.
Well, you get the bunt down. He's trailing him. Now, right here, Juan says, I got some options. I'm going to fake it, and that's what held DJ. I still think after that throw, he could have taken off and gone home.
I really don't think anybody, I don't think Kadire could have gotten the ball. He only had to run 45 feet at that point and beat the return throw. Actually, it's Flores, because Kadire was crashing. So now they're 2 outs, second and third after the sack bunt. See if Charlie can come through and tie this game up. Blackman a ground ball to second and a ground ball to first. 1-1 on Blackman.
You just tell DeGrom when he's gotten in trouble, he's just gone straight fastball. And that's what the pitchers that have the ability to take it another gear, a strikeout type of pitcher. When they get in these situations, that's what they're trying to hunt. They're saying, nope, I'm not worried about pitching to contact. I'm worried about just striking you out.
We saw it from Scherzer in the Washington series. We saw it a little bit from Matt Harvey last night. The ability to go get an extra couple of clicks on that fastball. He's always a good fastball hitter, though. LeMahieu at third, McHenry at second. Rockies hitting in the top of the 5th inning, down 2-0. Whoa, watch it.
He wanted it up, but not up and in. Two or three times tonight we've seen Darno where he'll get up into that Yogi Berra type of pose where it's up by the letters. That's where I want it.
Looked like he held up. Well, you got to sell out here on the fastball.
You have to. And that's in a curveball or slider that he throws after the 97-mile-an-hour fastball, one up and in. What you do, you have to sell out for the fastball and then hope if he does show something off speed that you get just foul it off.
DeGrom wins it at 97, and the Rockies lead 2 in scoring position.
Of the 5th. Well, it was a busy morning here in New York City for a couple of Rockies. They ventured over to New Jersey, Secaucus, New Jersey, to check out the MLB Network studios. It was Carlos Gonzalez, Ben Paulson, and DJ LeMahieu walking in, checking out all the sights that the studios have to offer. They even got to play a little home run derby. Ben Paulson, when he finally used the purple bat, he got the home run. And it was Fargo that originally found the purple bat. He won, hitting 2 home runs. So I asked him if the bat gave him an advantage.
Dinger's bat. That was a secret weapon. I think it's gone now because when Eddie Burns was hitting, we went over the dugout. But you know, whoever comes out here, use that purple bat. That's a secret.
Well, it was a fun day indeed. Cargo mentioned Eric Burns there, the former Rocky, and Jeff Drew. I'm not sure if you saw it, but Eric had the nice sleeveless top on without the sleeves underneath, and he suggested that might turn the Rockies season around if they would go no sleeves under the vest type jerseys. I don't think they agreed to it.
Did he cut the sleeves off of the jersey, or was it actual by design?
No, it was the vest jersey. You know, they were supposed to wear the sleeves underneath, so he just full on wanted to have suns out, guns out, except for we were inside. Yeah.
But that's Burnsy. That's,
you know, he had to show off all those push-ups he did this morning.
Yeah. I think there were a lot, you know what, Burnsy wouldn't be alone. There'd be a lot of guys that would elect to go to that style uni. Jorge De La Rosa against Ruben Tejada. Fargo was tweeting earlier about it. Fun time this morning at MLB Network with my boys DJ and Paulson, Studio 42. That's a great operation over there. And you know, we're religious followers of the MLB Network. A lot of great programming. Headed up by our man, Matt Pescursion.
You got the quick pitch in the morning, get some of the highlights of last night's game. That's good. I like that. Yep. National pastime.
Good pitch. De La Rosa with a curveball to strike out Tejada. That's the 4th strikeout for De La Rosa. That'll bring up DeGrom.
2 times he's gotten guys looking. 2 right-handed batters, Cespedes and now Tejada with the curveball.
DeGrom fan looking his first time up. That's high. De La Rosa is averaging better than 8 strikeouts per 9 innings. The strikeout per 9 innings, strikeouts per 9 innings is higher than it's been in a few years. But the one thing that's gone up for De La Rosa has been his walks per 9 innings, above 4. Been better about it the last couple of starts. He does have 2 tonight. 2 runs came in the 4th inning. De La Rosa didn't give up a hit the first 3 innings. Listen, your margin for error when you're facing guys like we've talked about all week long is very slim. DeGrom has never given up more than 3 runs since he got to the big leagues at Citi Field.
He struck out a lot of guys in his last 14 games, very few walks. So he's not giving up any unearned runs. Well, I mentioned the Padres are going to be in town this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 14th through the 16th. Catch all that action. But you need to get your tickets today for the San Diego Padres for the weekend.
Lagares singled and scored in the 4th. Two runs, 3 hits for New York. No runs, just 2 hits for the Rockies. He's had the curveball anytime he's wanted it tonight.
It's nice to have that as a pitcher. I could throw that at any point, any time, because I know what it's going to do.
That's one of the few times we've seen him double up on it, though.
Nothing wrong with that. The more you can try to outthink the hitter, the better your chances are. Hitter's trying to think along. Thinking, well, he's not going to come back with a curveball. Now it's a split finger.
Nogueira stopped his swing, 2-1. Two. Bonds from San Pedro de Macorís. How many guys have come out of San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic?
A lot. Used to be a lot of shortstops were coming out of there.
Yeah, a ton of shortstops. Swung on and missed. And Jorge strikes out the side as he got Juan Lagares there. 6 strikeouts for De La Rosa. We'll go to the 6th inning, 2-0 New York. Getting 2-0. Jorge De La Rosa's pitched well. DeGrom just been better. Uribe has driven in a run, and Michael Kadire has driven in a run. Cuddy, the former Rocky, 3 for 6 in this series. But DeGrom, the story. 5 shutout innings, just a couple of hits, and he struck out 8. Reyes, Gonzalez, Arenado in the 6th. Their third look at DeGrom, and his fastball's way outside, ball 1. After tonight, 50 ball games left on the docket for the Rockies. Off-speed pitch, and it's a 2-0 count. Reyes has one of the 2 hits for the Rockies. Single in the first, also a double for LeMahieu in the 5th. That was leading off, but the Rockies couldn't take advantage.
You're going to get very few opportunities against a pitcher like Jacob deGrom, National League Rookie of the Year last year. You can't leave any runs out there. When you have, I mean, that's a prime example of that pitch. But when you have a chance to drive in a run, you can't strand them.
You're not going to get a multitude of opportunities against the quality of deGrom. So if you're Terry Collins, and the Mets are fortunate enough to get to the postseason. Here's the 2-2. Back up the middle, but plenty of room for Flores, 1 out. In game 1, if you could line up your rotation, do you go Harvey or do you go deGrom? Good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have, and how much do you use him coming down the stretch? That's the other thing. Do you need him to pitch on that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday to close it out?
If all things are equal, if you literally had the choice, there was rest involved, you'd clinched far enough in advance, and you could line it up any way you want. It's more of a figurative question.
I would probably defer to the veteran in Harvey. And I say veteran, I use that term loosely. He's not much more experienced, but a few years than DeGrom. But there's been no sophomore slump at all for this youngster. His numbers are better than they were last year. There's Matt Harvey, who twirled a gem of a ball game last night. There's talk about limiting his innings down the stretch.
One and one. Cargo a strikeout and a fly ball to center. DeGrom throwing a couple off speed pitches here. This is what he did last year in winning Rookie of the Year, 2.69 ERA, a whip of 1.14. His whip now is 0.89.
How about that? 0.89. That's it for a whip.
142 punch-outs, just 24 walks. It's just ridiculous stuff. And since mid-May, it's been even better than that. Since mid-May, it bears repeating. He has 105 strikeouts, 12 walks, an 0.71 whip, and the league's hitting 170 against him. 170.
And it's not like he walked guys last year. He only had 40-plus walks in his first 22 starts last year.
1-2. Good eye for Cargo.
Second in the National League in ERA at 2.13 at home, a 1.60 ERA. So he likes pitching at Citi Field. So that's the other thing. Where do you open up the series if you're the Mets, who now have a 2.5 game lead on the Nationals?
3-2. Cargo get ready for that upper 90s fastball here with one out in the sixth inning. And you know what? He didn't get it. He got a change.
That's what makes him hard to hit. Think back to the at-bat that he struck Charlie out last inning. Tried to throw him at the 2-2 pitch, the slider down and away, and then he came back with the fastball. And now you're thinking, I hit from the left side, he's going to throw me the fastball, and he didn't.
Good at bat. He threw him a slider, and Cargo saw it. It's a pitch that usually traps a left-handed hitter. So Cargo with a one-out walk, and that'll bring up Nolan Arenado representing the tying run here in the sixth.
We've been bragging about the low walks for DeGrom. That's his third one tonight. His season high is 4. One other time he's had 3 walks in a game. So he's tied his second highest walk total of the season.
They may have to send him to Las Vegas for a little tune-up.
Can they do it right now? Is that allowed?
Yeah, sure. You should go visit with Sandy Alderson and make that suggestion. Sandy, I've spent a lot of years in baseball. I respect you entirely, but it's my personal opinion. You need to hook this kid right now and get him on the first flight to Vegas.
I've been in pro ball 30 years now. I think it's time.
One and one. '81 pitches in here in the sixth inning. That's a strike. I'm guessing they have to have had some promo or somebody has come up with the hat with the locks for DeGrom, right?
Have to.
I know they had the T-shirt.
Met has it. The T-shirt.
I love Mr. Met, huh? Toward the hole, cut off by Uribe, and he's going to get an out at second. Good play by Juan Uribe.
Oh, Juan ranges far to his left. Still has enough arm strength to nail Carlos at second base. I mean, that's probably as far as I've seen Juan go out to his left in a number of years. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just he'll catch the ball if it's a step to his left or to his right.
Very, very sure hands.
Very sure hands.
Former shortstop, very strong arm. But again, you're talking about a guy well into his 30s. He does not have the range he did 10 years ago.
And that's speaking from my own experience.
Sure.
when you get up there, that's part of the reason why you go over to third base.
Yep.
And you move to different positions.
Ben Paulson. Pop out and a strikeout for Ben. He stays off the curveball. Here's the 2-1 on Paulson, 3-1 on Ben. EJ waiting his turn, hoping for a turn here in the 6th inning with 2 outs. More sliders here the 3rd time through.
Trying to mix it up. But you can't be guessing off speed. You have to look for the express. And that's what he's going to get.
Ball 4. 4 walks allowed by DeGrom. And the Rockies have 2 on now for LeMahieu, who doubled his last time up. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow at @RootsSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special, and the Rockies do score 7 in a game.
DJ's double back in the 5th inning. High fastball takes it over the head of Curtis Granderson in right field for a ground rule double.
That would work well right here.
Keep adding to that career high total in RBIs. DJ with 44 on the season. Last year had 42.
This is chop foul. 1-2. DeGrom from the same town as Chipper Jones to land Florida. 1 ball and 2 strikes. LeMahieu hitting with 2 on for the Rockies here in the 6th. On the swing, they say he went around. So the Rockies again threaten, cannot score. 9 strikeouts for DeGrom. by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Experience the new Buick during the Buick Spring Sales event. By Jack in the Box for a limited time. Try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted herb cheese and butter. And by GMC, Precision Matters. Mets leading 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Curtis Granderson will be first up. The Mets right fielder. Found it going a little tougher coming from the Bronx to Queens last year in terms of hitting home runs. The porch in right field was not quite as inviting.
Well, that porch in new Yankee Stadium is almost identical to old Yankee Stadium. If you could just hook it down the right field line, you get a few cheap home runs there.
Even if you hit it the straightaway right, it's not exactly a long poke. Just off the plate, ball 1 on Granderson.
Different
ground
airflow.
ball to short, ground ball to first.
And different airflow coming into the stadium is there, here compared to over in the Bronx.
Two-0 on Curtis. He's produced a lot of home runs in his career, and you wouldn't think so just looking at him. He's in great shape, kind of a strong, wiry body.
Really nice guy and gentleman to talk to.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of options when his career gets done. A very sharp guy who, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people in the broadcasting industry interested in Curtis when his days on the field are done. He's hit that magic number. He's got 10 years in the big leagues. Good pitch, good curveball, 2-2.
The magic number when you're fully vested in the pension plan.
Yeah. In fact, he's been a studio analyst for Turner during the postseason on several occasions, also with ESPN. That is line to left, and it's foul. Granderson has a lengthy bio in the media guide, and usually with most guys, it's all about their playing career. He has a full page on all of the philanthropic things he's done in his career.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He has that platform to be able to do that, and he uses it to help benefit other people.
Three and two. Granderson didn't exactly go to a big-time power. He went to the University of Illinois Chicago. He graduated there with a business degree, completed his final 2 years while he was in the Tigers organization coming up.
Something he promised his mom and dad. And then he followed through and got his degree.
Yeah. He's also donated, they love him there because he donated $5 million to the school. He didn't do that right after graduation.
Did they name the field after him then?
They named everything after him. The benches, swung on and missed. Good pitch by De La Rosa.
Well, 7th strikeout tonight for Jorge.
4 in a row.
The hat trick last inning, and now with Granderson and another curveball for a strikeout.
Most he's thrown, would you say, in a game this year?
Yes. We haven't seen him throw that many, sometimes in 2 or 3 games in a row.
Yep, he's got a good feel for it. I think I don't want to say he completely eliminates it, but he throws it less at home. That one slipped out of his hand. 1-0 on Cespedes, a strikeout on a curveball looking, and also ground ball to third. Mets are 8-2 in August. They lead the NL East by 2.5 games. Another opportunity for Nolan. He gets behind the throw, and he's got a big-time arm. 2 outs.
On the road traveling and want to watch your Rockies? Well, you can do that. Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more.
2 outs and a rebase at the plate. Juan, a 2-out double to drive in Juan Lagares in the 4th to break the ice. Then he came home on a Kadire base hit. That's the difference in this game. De La Rosa has allowed 3 hits. DeGrom has allowed 2, but the 2 runs in the 4th for the Mets. Jorge's due up 3rd next inning, so in all likelihood, this will be all for him.
Unless the first couple guys get on, then you can sacrifice bunt him.
And you could keep him in the game, absolutely. I got something for you also, Huey. Do you think that the Rockies this year have utilized the extra pitcher and gone with the shorter bench more so than at any point in their history?
Yes, for an extended period of time.
Yeah. And it seems like the vast majority of the time the Rockies have gone with 4 off their bench. And once again, if you're just joining us, folks, the Rockies made a move earlier today. They designated Drew Stubbs for assignment, and they brought up Matt McBride, who was just tearing up the Pacific Coast League.
.328 batting average, PCL All-Star.
Did that a year ago. This is off the end of the bat. Paulson's got it. De La Rosa is going to lose the race to the bag. Uribe beat De La Rosa to the bag.
Juan knows a half a beat late getting off the mound. The ball was hit. See that hesitation? That's what cost him the out at first base. Boy, that's going to be, that was real close. But you see the foot get in right there before the left foot of Juan, before the right foot of Jorge. But all it takes is a blink of an eye, and Jorge was late getting over. And instead of being back in the dugout, now he's got a pitch with 2 outs, runner on first, and Kadire up.
That's why pitchers are taught any right side ground ball, it's an automatic break. You can always shut it down. Great video of that just that split second is the difference between out and safe. 1-0 on Kadire. 1,500th career hit for Michael in the 4th inning. That's quite a milestone.
And now not only you're having to pitch to Kadire, but it's extra pitches being thrown.
Yeah, he should have been out of the inning in the upper 80s. Last year he hit .332 in a Rockies uniform, actually a point better than he hit the year before he would have won the batting title, but he missed a lot of games. Reyes with the flip to LeMahieu, that'll end the inning. So no harm done by that infield hit by Uribe. We'll go to the 7th inning. The Rockies got to get going on offense. It's been a while. and in all likelihood a pinch hitter for De La Rosa against DeGrom. Time for a Data Strong fan photo brought to you by T-Mobile. What do we have tonight? That lady. So if you go to the effort of painting your face, and you have the CR on the cheek and the seams of the baseball, you are a hardcore Rockies fan. Jenny Cavnar, how come you have not broken that look out yet?
Gosh, I really need to borrow that makeup. We have to talk to our makeup people in Seattle, see if we can get on that, don't you think?
I can take care of that for you.
Yeah, I don't think you want him to do that, Jenny.
I don't think I do either. Guys, De La Rosa due up third this inning, so if Walt does go to the bench and uses a pinch hitter, McBride an option. Drew mentioning that he was recalled today from AAA. This is his third stint with the Rockies. Spent a little time here in the 2012 season and the end of the 2014 season. Walt Weiss said today he loved him at spring training, really enjoyed the way he went after his work. He provides versatility off the bench. And then all he did all season long at AAA Albuquerque, he was impressed with his .328 average. I talked to him when he arrived at the clubhouse today with all of his bags, walking in a little late. He was so excited to be here, and he just said, you know, I've tried to take that consistent approach since I left spring training. I held on to the place I had on this team at that moment, and I just kept working hard, and he knew his opportunity would come. And for Walt Weiss, this is really kind of a tryout for him. They want to get a better look at him, so that is why they didn't wait till September to call him up.
Long throw, and McHenry is out by a step from Ruben Tejada. Well, Jenny, Matt McBride is really a pro, and he is the last player left from the Ubaldo Jimenez trade. He's caught some. He can play first base. We've seen him at both corner outfield spots. And there he goes to the on-deck circle.
And if you're going to go with 13 pitchers and only 4 guys on the bench, versatility is key. I think that's what Matt brings. He can play first base. He can play a corner outfield position. And he's also your third catcher.
Brandon Barnes tried to bunt his way on. So 2 outs, and here comes McBride. His return to the big leagues.
With Albuquerque in those 78 games, Jenny mentioned it, 328, 12 home runs, 49 RBIs.
And that includes a rough April. I think for any player that was so close to making a team, there's that emotional downturn initially when you go to AAA, and you try to battle through it naturally, but it's probably hard to do, at least initially.
It is real hard to do, speaking from experience. It's happened to me. The last guy sent out during spring training, you think you should have made the ball club, and you didn't. You go down to AAA, and you're always in the back of your mind, oh, I should have made it. I should have been that guy. But then some at-bats start to pile up, and you forget, I've got to go out and perform now down here so I can get a call up if something happens.
Yep. And that's what Matt's done. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike on McBride. And that's on the outside corner. Boy, DeGrom painting here against Matt. The product of Lehigh in Pennsylvania. Obviously, the out recorded at first. 10 strikeouts for DeGrom and a 1-2-3-7. It remains the Mets 2 and the Rockies nothing. to what's next. No television tomorrow morning, really. It's a 12 o'clock start here, so 10 o'clock back home. And then the Rockies will open up a 10-game homestand, actually a 9-game homestand over 10 days. Padres for 3, and then the Nationals after an off day on Monday, and these Mets the following weekend. And then it's on to Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Christian Bergman takes over. De La Rosa goes 6 innings. He allows the 2 runs on just 4 hits. De La struck out 7. Very solid outing for De La Rosa. And Christian's first pitch to Wilmer Flores misses ball 1.
And the hope for Walt is that he can keep it here at 2-0. He can go out and pitch a couple innings. Get that bullpen a little bit of a blow out there. But for Christian, it's been 9 days since he's been out on the hills. August 3rd, game against Seattle was his last appearance when he pitched 2 2/3.
2 balls and a strike. Got a little DeGrom going, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Slings that over the outside corner. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jacobs might be a little longer.
DeGrom's thrown 102 pitches, due up 4th this inning. You would think, and he's gone longer than that this year, but you would think Terry Collins will go to his pen. He's got a guy warming up. Lifted to center field, Blackman territory. 1 out.
It looks like it's Tyler Clippard, who they got for just the 8th inning. He is their guy in that role. Indeed, it is Tyler. He's still throwing now, so that tells you he's coming into the game.
Travis d'Arnaud. Changeup misses.
The toughest role in the bullpen is what Christian has to do. Be that long guy. You don't know when you're going to be out on the hill. How much work do you get in the side, knowing that you might be pitching in the 2nd inning that night?
Yep, you don't know.
Or you can sit 9 days in between. You go out onto the hill.
I've heard a lot of guys who work down the bullpen talk about life in the bullpen. They have a good time, and they're usually very close-knit. It's a close-knit group. And they'll often say around the 5th inning, that's when the jokes kind of cease, 5th, 6th inning. And, you know, guys, especially when you know your role, if you're the 7th inning guy, kind of set off a little bit by themselves and that sort of thing. In the case of a long haul guy, you got to have that focus. To your point early, you don't know. Guy gets hurt all of a sudden. That's a base hit for d'Arnaud.
Yeah, so for him, it might be different than everybody else. But you're right, the jokes and the levity, all that stuff, it's same thing for the bench players. Because they're starting to get ready in the 4th and 5th, 6th inning where it might be a pinch hit, might be a double switch. You've got to be into that game.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Clippard, who's a veteran late inning guy right now, he didn't have to put his game face on in the 4th inning.
Lee Smith was that way. Played with Randy Myers in Baltimore. He'd sleep for the first 2 innings on the training table. Because he knew he wasn't going to pitch. He'd go in there, take a nice little siesta, and then come out for the 8th or 9th inning.
Somebody go wake him up?
Yeah, you'd have to go wake him up. They'd go wake him up so he could start to get ready.
d'Arnaud at first with Ruben Tejada at the plate. Daniel Murphy in the on-deck circle. There's Murphy. Started at first last night for Terry Collins.
3rd the night before.
Tejada staring down Tim Tuffle, seeing if they're going to put a bunt on. 1 out, I would really doubt it.
Maybe a hit and run, though.
That's a possibility, a greater possibility.
Yeah, knowing that you have the pinch hitter on deck. If you're thinking about a hit and run, the middle infielders will take a look at the sign. It's going to be a fastball away. Jose would probably cover if it's a fastball or a breaking pitch, and it'd be DJ. Fastball in, I should say, or a breaking pitch.
Center field. And Blackman makes the catch, and that'll bring up Murphy.
Nope, they're going to pull him back. Go to Conforto. Michael.
They'll go to the rookie.
The youngster.
So Michael Conforto just got brought to the big leagues recently, and they think he's going to be a star with the bat. He's going to pinch hit here.
#1 rated prospect for the Mets. Came up from Double-A.
Takes inside.
Conforto only played 133 minor league games.
Got here quickly. He wasn't even on the 40 man at the start of the year. One and two. And this has popped up. Reyes calling for it, and Jose makes the catch. So Christian Bergman works a solid 7th inning. We move to the 8th. Carlos Gonzalez will be up 3rd in the inning. Rockies trailing 2-0. We take a look back at John Gray's Major League debut. Learn about Brandon Barnes' glove story, and we meet with a Rockies superfan who attended his 500th straight game. Well, you know what? That's Rockies Weekly, but Rockies Real Time comes your way after the postgame. That'll be a great show also.
Can't lose either way.
No.
Rockies Real Time or Rockies Weekly. Real Time, they go down to Albuquerque.
8th inning, Tyler Clippard, who was acquired from the Oakland A's recently, and he's been very good so far in a Mets uniform.
Was an all-star last year, also in 2011. Washington thought they had enough where they can give up a guy that had 40 holds a year ago.
And the 30-year-old has the first pitch in there to Charlie Blackmon. So the Rockies with the top of the order, still in contact. They have just 2 hits, though. DeGrom, 7 shutout innings, 2 hits, 4 walks, uncharacteristic of him, but he struck out 10, and that's about right for DeGrom.
And all that being said, you're still only trailing 2-0. So it's a walk, a hit by pitch, bloop, and then a blast, and we're all tied up. You got the top of the order to do it.
Clippard back in 2003, a 9th round pick of the New York Yankees out of Florida high school. High strike called, 2-2.
He's the only pitcher to appear in 70 or more games each of the last 5 seasons. 70 or more games.
Former National shakes off, and the fastball's inside. 3-2.
And another count for Charlie where he's worked it full.
And Blackmon pops this up shallow left field, but Cespedes is there. So that'll bring up Reyes. He's 1 for 3. Rockies have not scored in more than 21 innings now. Again, the only 2 runs in this series, a Cargo home run in the 4th inning with a man aboard on Monday for John Gray to give the Rockies a 2-1 lead. That's an easy play for Uribe.
Cut fastball from Tyler.
Cut up the bat.
Yes, it did. Oh, Miguel Cabrera coming back on Friday for the Tigers from that torn calf.
There's been a void for the Tigers, certainly, and even any kind of baseball fan, without Cabrera participating over the last month and a half.
Well, it's hurt the Tigers and the Tiger fans not having him around.
High fly ball to Granderson and right. Cargo got underneath it just a little bit. And the Rockies done in the 8th inning. Again, they go in order. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed. And by StubHub. Hey, Rockies fans, did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Get the StubHub app today. With Jeff Hewson and Jenny Cavnar, Drew Goodman from Citi Field. The Rockies have run into Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom. Shut out last night. They're being shut out here in the 8th inning, 2-0 this evening. In the bottom half of inning number 8, Juan Lagares representing the top of the order for the Mets against Christian Bergman, and that's in there for a strike. I'd like to tell you the Rockies have had multiple opportunities on offense, but honestly they haven't. Just 2 hits. And the first one should have been caught by Wilmer Flores, kind of a soft line drive way back in the first inning off the bat of Jose Reyes.
The one prime opportunity was in the 5th. You had 1st and 3rd. And nobody out. And you had the strikeout, and then with the sac bunt by Jorge down the 3rd baseline. And DJ came down the line.
Think he could have scored on that?
I think he could have. I think if you go back and he looks at it again, I know he was thinking there might be somebody sneaking up from behind me, and I'm worried about the pump throw to first. But once that throw left, I still think he had time to get it home.
Certainly looked that way. 2-2 on Lagares. Good breaking ball, and this is popped up shallow right. DJ is called off by Cargo, and that's the way it should work, but it's always a scary moment, right, for an infielder going out like that.
Well, and when you have more people in the stands tonight than you have had previously, over 30,000, about 37,000 here, it's hard to hear when you're running out there, but Cargo's saying, I got it. You could see his the lips moving, but the infielder's trying to say, I'll wave it off. The good thing for DJ is he was quartered. He was turned towards the outfielder, so you can hear it better as you're running out there.
Curtis Granderson 0 for 3. Again, De La Rosa was very good. 6 innings to 2 runs on 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 7. But you have no margin for error. Chris Rusin learned that last night, taking on Matt Harvey. He gave up just a run in 6 innings. And a good pitch by Bergman. He strikes out Granderson, pulled the string. Nice job, Christian. He's retired 5 of the 6 he's faced. And that'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes.
He's done exactly what Walt could have hoped for. Come out, attack the strike zone, 27 pitches for an inning and 2/3. You don't have to go to somebody else out in the bullpen. Give those guys a break and keep it at a 2-0 game.
Cespedes a strikeout and a couple of groundouts. Up and in, 1-2.
The old chin music. It wasn't intentional. Didn't mean to come up that high towards the head.
Cespedes drives this to deep right center field and gone. First home run in a Mets uniform. And he makes it 3-0. Just his second hit at home. He had just one hit prior to that at Citi Field.
He was 2 for 19 at Citi Field. And this should show you the strength of Cespedes to take this breaking pitch after getting the fastball up by the head, takes a breaking pitch to the opposite field.
Uribe drove in the first run with a double in the fourth. The infield hit his last time up. Cutter away.
And you talked about Kadire and his 1,500 hit. Well, Uribe with that single also with his 1,500 hit. So 2 guys tonight with 1,500 hits.
And that gives you an idea of 2 things. It's quite a milestone. It also gives you great appreciation for guys who produce 3,000 hits because Uribe's had a long and very good career. Michael Kadire's had a long and very fine career. And they're only halfway to 3,000. Misses. Of course, they're both hitting back-to-back in the lineup. Michael Kadire is one of those guys that loves learning about new things. He jumps right in. So when he signed that 2-year deal with the Mets, he didn't move to suburbia. He moved right into Manhattan.
Back in the 4th inning. Here's that hit. And also an RBI. Driving in the man that got the 1,500 hit in the 6th. And he asked for the baseball. Michael's always been a student of the game and student of where he lives.
Well, we did a number of pieces on his love of photography over the last 3 years. He had 3 fine years with the Rockies. And this is easy play for LeMahieu or Reyes. It'll be Jose. That'll end the inning. We'll go to the 9th inning, and now the Rockies trail 3-0 after the Cespedes home run. Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By the newly redesigned 2016 Mitsubishi Outlander. And by Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. Three 0 the Mets shutting out the Rockies in the 9th inning. Let's check in with Mark Stout back in Denver. Mark? doesn't. Are those guys doing all right?
I think so. They'll have it covered for the postgame show. I know that.
Yep. We will assume they will. It's Jeurys Familia on the mound, the Mets closer. Lefty's hitting just 198. Righty's not much better at 205. And for the Rockies, it'll be Arenado, Paulson, and LeMahieu.
Familia saved a ball game on Monday night for his 31st save. Had an inning, a couple strikeouts. Faced Arenado, Paulson. So two of the three guys that he'll see tonight, he faced on Monday night.
Nolan 0 for 3. Rocky's season low in hits has been 3 twice. I've said it 10,000 times, and people who have been in this game for a long, long time have said it 10 million times. The sport does not change. It is all about pitching, pitching, pitching. And pitching beats good hitting every single time. 1 and 2. I mean, I just reminded of it. Yeah, I mean, you look at the two guys who threw in the last 2 days, and then you bring this guy out of the bullpen, 6'4", 230 pound. He looks like a closer. He acts like a closer, and his stuff is closer-like. 1 and 2 on Nolan, way inside.
I tried to go with a quicker tempo on the pitch home. Almost like a slide step for a pitcher. When they do that, they'll have a tendency to leave the arm behind because it just doesn't have time to catch up. You don't have time to separate the hands over your knees like you would like to. And that's what happened to that inside pitch to Nolan.
2 and 2 on Nolan. Off his foot. That was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball boring in on the hands of Arenado.
Yeah, with movement. In and hard in.
That reminded me of one of those Ubaldo fastballs.
Sure.
Three and 2 again. Fastball at 98.
Monday he threw a fastball to Nolan in that had movement down towards the ankles.
He hung a slider, but Nolan just got underneath it. And Cespedes has it 1 out.
Yeah, Familia was looking back at Darno, which that slider was up, wasn't it? Darno shook his head, said yes. Nolan's looking back at the big board. He just came within a whisper of hitting that one out.
Paulson walked in the 6th inning, 0 for 2 otherwise. The Rockies are going to see more of the heavy artillery tomorrow when Noah Syndergaard goes.
Syndergaard averages 97 on his fastball, can't touch 100. He has a curveball, changeup, and slider.
Eddie Butler will go for the Rockies.
It's the same thing you've seen for the last 3 days from Harvey and tonight from DeGrom.
Really, the last 6 days.
True.
Yeah, the Mets caught a break yesterday because they were able to produce that 3-run inning late against the Rockies bullpen. So they didn't use Familia yesterday in a position where it looked like they were going to have to. They went with newly acquired Eric O'Flaherty because they were up by 4 runs.
Yeah, he was up getting ready to go out, but then they were able to shut him down and say, save it for tomorrow.
Foul tip held, 2 outs. DJ, a double in the 5th inning. One of the 2 hits the Rockies have. Oh and 1. DJ, a hard shot, and he's going to reach. And I would think that's got to be a hit. That was a smash off of Kadire.
And it will go down as a base hit.
The Rockies have 3 hits.
It was a smash. Michael knocked it down, but it didn't have time to react to get DJ at first.
McHenry, 2 walks and a ground ball to short.
I just think back to that last inning with that extra run added on.
Huge.
Yeah, instead you're thinking, oh, yeah, tying runs coming to the plate, but it's not now.
Do you know the Mets over the last couple of weeks, they've hit more home runs than any other team in the National League? DJ will move up. That would not be a stolen base. 1-1. DJ did have one earlier.
That's kind of subscribed to the Earl Weaver. Wait for the 2 or 3 run home run. That's what they've done lately.
Ball and 2 strikes on McHenry. And Familia with a slider strikes out McHenry, and that's the ball game. Another shutout. The Mets win it 3-0 tonight. The Rockies have not scored in their last 23 innings. They've now lost 9 consecutive ball games at Citi Field. 4 of the last 5 by shutout. Jacob deGrom's home ERA, 1.46. Terry Collins, got to love the way his team is playing. They're 13-4 over their last 17 as we check our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. And naturally, it has to do with the Mets starting pitcher, Jacob deGrom. 7 shutout, 2 hits, 4 walks, which is unusual for him. He struck out 10. He can absolutely overwhelm a lineup, and he did that tonight. So our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, the work of the former Stetson middle infielder, Jacob deGrom. The final score once again, the Mets win it 3-0 over the Rockies. To the West we go. And here's Mark Stout and Corey Sullivan, guys.